Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people who hate reading. This month's theme was movies that are funny or unintentionally funny, so Ryan picked the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, made in 2005, and we have movie news for you at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, Ryan Preston,
and the old guys here.
Giggity.
So here's the shoot soup du jour of this title on IMDb. It's a bored married couple is surprised to learn that they are both assassins, hired by competing agencies to kill each other.
One of the worst IMDb movie.
No, we've had
paragraphs.
worse.
No, I've heard
it's pretty damn bad.
It's pretty up there on the bad scale. But
come on.
So I guess I'll start things off, and this movie is amazingly quotable. Has some great lines.
Yeah.
Like my favorite being, honey, your aim's as bad as your cooking, sweetheart, and that's saying something. or this one, what's new? Same old thing, people need killing. Matter of fact, I've heard James say that.
Yeah.
And
there are a lot of people that do need that.
And the other one that actually made me laugh was Brad Pitt's character. Did you hear the helicopter dropping me off off that night to our anniversary dinner? Jane Smith. No. Oh, percussion grenades. I was partially deaf that evening.
Yeah, you know
Please more after show if you want to hear John read the whole script.
Yeah.
The after show. That's right. Pay attention. That's the important one.
You know, that was one of the
I'm sorry, Ryan. We're starting to lose your connection a little bit.
that always disturbed me about this film is that how do you guys not know where your spouse's hiding spots are of all their weapons, especially when they go into the house and it's like they're everywhere.
Yeah, he pulls a button, this wall pops out.
Yeah, that was the one thing that always disturbed me about this movie. It's like, how did she not know that was there?
Well, she never goes in the shed. He never goes in the oven. It was, sort of this kind of a chauvinist pig joke.
And apparently either did she.
Yeah, but technically, I never really crawled in my oven either. It's like, do I want to smell the gas?
Well, and how often do you change, the order in which you push the buttons? You know what I mean? These little combinations. It's not like you're just winging it one day, like, oh, I'm going to try to turn it on with this button this time.
That's a good point.
The shed scene I always thought was weird, because didn't she wonder why he was spending, I don't know, a couple of days in the shed? I mean, realistically?
Yeah, but the fun thing about this movie is that it's not technically supposed to be taken realistically.
Oh no, it's a great
fun movie.
Yeah, oh no, totally. Like the scene when they first learned, and that the fighting scene in the house where they first learned what they were and they were killing each other. That whole scene is hilarious because the whole time they're talking shit about each other.
Yeah, that was a really good dinner scene. That's actually probably my favorite dinner scene of all movies. Actually, if I really think about it. There's not a lot of movies that have good dinner scenes, and that's a good one. Did you ever see the Family?
No.
It's the new Robert De Niro film.
No, I did not.
That has a good dinner scene, but I think this one's better.
No.
Sorry, Giggity. You're cutting out again.
So,
get you.
Am I?
Me.
So, what? Do you guys have any favorite scenes in this movie? Because I actually have a couple.
Why don't you start?
The dinner scene, and my favorite.
This movie's chock full of
my favorite scene is the one where they're driving, and he was talking about how he was married before, and she's like, "What's your social security number?" And he's like, "Honey, you're not gonna kill her." The whole scene arouses that, and she flips the van backwards. Somehow with a handgun blows up 2 BMWs. Flips it around again and starts driving again.
Doesn't anybody? Everybody can do that.
That always reminds me of this scene
Right.
in Saving Private Ryan where he's shooting at the tank.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it blows up.
Yeah.
And there's actually a plane that does it,
Yeah.
But that's what it always makes me think of when, there's this person shooting at a car and all of a sudden it...
Yeah.
It's like that does not happen.
No. And that's why that scene was so good, because he even had the look of his different movie. All of a sudden, we're talking about here, but he even had the look of surprise when he shot that last shot. Yeah.
But John's saying that somehow she managed to explode these 2 vehicles with a handgun
because she can magically know where the right spot is, or
there is no sweet spot.
Or the best, probably the best scene is the ending scene where they take over that giant warehouse place. And they're trying to, kill all these guys, and she's like throwing knives at him, and one stabs him in the leg, and that whole ending scene was great. Great payoff.
But the one thing I do got to enjoy is I actually, when I first heard about this movie, I didn't think I was gonna like Mr. and Mrs. Smith as much as I did. Honestly.
Oh no, yeah.
I mean, I've seen it before. It was picked for this show at least 3 times, twice in past years since my wife owns it. But I actually found myself enjoying this movie more than I thought I would, because I was thinking Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie starring as a married couple,
Yeah.
Right. Well, look, now, if I can just launch into my shit.
Go ahead.
Please.
Pretty much the reason that I picked it is because I was not expecting to watch it, but I threw it on because I like shitty action movies. All of a sudden, the opening scene when they're in the therapist's office, I started laughing, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that just set the tone for this entire thing, and it really did. It was such a quirky movie, and I think the Brad Pitt Jolie thing only served to give them more of a good dynamic with each other, because their characters were genius.
They played
playing off each other.
They did a really good job at that.
There was some chemistry. They actually had chemistry, which I think I hate to say it, for Angelina Jolie, is not an easy thing to get in one of her movies. And there was a chemistry between.
Hello.
Oh, there's this wonderful. Anyway, my opinion was it's hard. It's hard for her in her roles, I think, to get that chemistry.
Sorry, Ryan, you really cut out for a second there, so we're just kind of keeping it going.
I would say I think one of the proof of that is Gone in 60 Seconds. Her and Nick Cage, and they really had no screen chemistry.
Yeah,
it was very forced.
Well put.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really enjoyed about that.
Maniac in that movie.
I'm sorry. Let's wait for 5 seconds. 5,
4,
3, 2, 1. Oh, it didn't come. Anyway, what I was going to say is Brad Pitt, surprisingly, from his early acting career, when you see him actually do some of the goofier stuff in the middle towards today's acting career, he plays a really good goofy guy. A really good goofy guy, especially Fight Club.
Yeah.
Fight Club was a really good example of his extreme goofiness and eccentricness that he can pull off.
I wouldn't be surprised if this character is more like his personality-wise in real life, kind of a more goofy guy versus the serious actor.
I mean, she was a stoner for how many years? I'm sure he's a goofy bastard.
But what you said he was something?
I said he's been a stoner for a lot of years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a little easier for him to.
Yeah, stoners all know each other,
right? It is.
Oh, Obama, that guy's a stoner.
Secret handshake.
Get out of thin air. He's been public about it.
I know. I was just kind of joking with you.
Right. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. That's why some of his more serious roles don't come off as natural as the more goofy characters, because this character really fit him.
Yeah.
I thought.
And you guys are both right. I've always looked at Angelina Jolie as not really a character that can have that goofy chemistry easily.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult thing for her to do, and I think she really nailed it in this one.
That's why I think she plays better when she's the single main character. Like if you take a look at
that's what she is mostly.
Yeah.
And because I think, just like my opinion is because I think she has trouble getting chemistry with another actor.
Well, I also think it's probably because she's a stronger actor than a lot of people. I think that the character type she generally picks, or personality type, I think she's a very strong presence on screen.
And she's
I
stuck
think,
up. Is that
I think it takes somebody like Brad Pitt, who's a similar strong on-screen presence to really go along.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I thought Vince Vaughn's character in the beginning was a little bit stretched, and it kind of it grows into it a little bit later on, but in the beginning it always seemed a little bit off for Vince Vaughn to be playing that role. What do you think, Ryan?
Well, once the movie really sort of takes off in its and he just gets 3 sheets to the wind with the crazy shit, it totally fits. Same thing with Adam Brody's character.
Yeah.
Adding just that little bit of, like, you almost need that guy and Vince Vaughn, that guy, to juxtapose the two alpha, characters of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
Do you think Vaughn's character moves the story along?
This movie was directed by the guy who did the Bourne series.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering how all the jokes sort of come from watching too many spy movies.
They do.
And it's only people sort of like us that have seen way too many shitty action movies or even good action movies that you sort of know where the comedy's coming from in a lot of these moments. I was going to bring up earlier, John, when you were talking about the car chase scene when she flips the thing around. One of my favorite parts in that was when she slams on the brakes just to slap the shit out of him.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I love that scene, the interaction between them and a married couple. And she was like, I knew I saw that guy, talking about how her parents were actors. And he's like, man, I knew I shouldn't have brought my real parents.
I told you I saw him on Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I completely butcher that. Damn it.
I thought it'd be great if she hired Tattoo to be her dad.
Kind of hard since he's dead.
Well, yeah. Or when they got married, he could have been alive.
Details. Don't worry about
that. They could bring him back alive.
We can slap a latex rubber face on anybody. And
of course, all they're going to get out of him is the plane. So, what do you guys think? Apparently, 2 of the 4 people that haven't watched Fantasy Island. So, what do you guys think Vince Vaughn's roles were? The character's purpose in this movie. I think it was like a driven character, like a comedy element. What do you really think his character really did for the story?
Is Brad Pitt hook up?
What? I'm sorry. What was that?
Yeah,
Ryan?
I didn't catch that either. You cut out again.
He's just his / comic relief. He's like your water cooler guy.
Okay, I got him.
All right. I could see that.
That's not a bad synopsis of it. I don't know. I didn't really think he had that big of a role initially, but it turned out that he didn't really help the story go along, but it was just basically kind of like what Ryan said. It's just a little bit of like kind of a wingman type thing.
Because he did
secondary character in this thing.
Everything in it was really opposite each other between her and his firm. You know what I mean? Like, she has this giant, gorgeous building and it's all women, and this dumb little, shitty apartment style thing with Vince Vaughn and an old lady.
I always kind of thought it was the Amazons versus the normal people.
Death by snoo.
It was, it's a startup. They needed some Kickstarter money to get going.
I did love how they escaped. I did love how all those ladies escaped from the building when he was coming up.
Yeah,
that zip line thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really well done. Except if anybody looked up, it's like, what was that?
Right, unnecessarily elaborate. I love that kind of shit.
Yeah, all they needed is some giant door opening. No,
right, I just hate to be walking on the sidewalk when all that glass hits the ground.
Oh yeah,
no kidding.
What's happening? It's raining blood.
We actually have a building in Sacramento that's doing that.
Raining blood.
Right now?
Raining glass. The State Board of Equalization building in Sacramento has been having problems with their windows. They've been blowing out all of a sudden.
Oh, jeez.
So they had to build this cover.
Problem.
Yeah, they had to build a big time problem. They had to build this whole cover all around the sidewalks around
I was
this
going to
building.
say, you just put like a catch, like a sneeze guard in the subway or something, but upside down.
I was going to say, did the Unabomber come back to Sacramento again?
So now they bought this building 10 years ago for like $60 million, and now the building's no good. They'd have to put $160 million in it, so they're saying it's cheaper to tear it down. It's just, anyway, moving on. Back to movies.
I was reading on this that the body count is only 43
in this movie,
according to IMDb.
How many rounds of ammo did they?
Yeah, I was going to say
43.
That's a lot of bystanders, actually.
They didn't reload enough. I mean, there was an awful lot of endless bullet scenes.
I mean, come on. Try to be like the A-Team. You unload tons of magazines and kill nobody.
No, but you managed to make the car flip, do backflips. And
that's right. You don't want to hurt anybody.
I think the car flipping over, because she shot, I think she shot like the axle or something like that in the wheel.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things, and the lack of reloading, I think, was done entirely on purpose.
Sure.
Yeah.
Actually, after like James seen it 3 times, I've seen it probably about as many. I think that every bit of action cliche was done incredibly on purpose.
Because if you look at the Bourne, like he said, this is the guy who directed the Bourne. There was
which are the greatest spy movies fucking ever.
Yeah, there was a reasonable amount of reloading that he did in that film.
Yeah. And
reasonable.
Oh yeah,
for a movie.
No, it was more real than most.
And I think the most amazing thing is you go from a series which are born is probably very, very realistic, very little comedy elements. Just kind of very stuck up. If you want to, you go from that to this.
Stuck up.
Well, I mean, what else are you gonna say? It's a very stiff movie. It's not a lot of leeway for humor.
No, I get you. Yeah.
And it,
Right.
and then you go
And
from
realistic.
Oh, the Bourne movies.
Yeah.
To a point, obviously picking up.
Yeah, and I think that's a pretty amazing switch going to something like Robert Ludlum's Bourne to this movie, which is pretty much all making fun of all the Bourne movies, almost. Because there's a little bit of
I think it's making fun of the spy genre.
Yes.
well, yeah, because
Yes,
there's
that's what it is.
there's a little bit of Bourne stuff in there. There's a lot of poking fun at James Bond, and
I think there was some Get Smart.
yeah. Oh no, totally.
Sections
Yeah.
in that movie where it's
Oh, I
like,
love Get Smart.
I've seen that before.
I was really hoping for the Cone of Silence.
Yes, the Cone of Silence. I had to describe that to a guy who never watched a Get Smart movie at all. I said, "Do you know what the Cone of Silence is?" He says, "No." I said, "I can't tell you because it's silent."
And it's describing this movie is kind of like describing Get Smart. You have to really see it to get some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go that far. I just think this is a goofy movie. It's made
Which
to
is
be
fun.
goofy. It's supposed to be making fun of the spy films,
Right.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Ryan,
And it does a good job
like
of
Ryan
that.
said, but it does it in a different way that you're having marriage elements that make it even more funny and hits a larger audience than if you just
Not to
had like a
mention
Get Smart.
incredibly realistic marriage elements.
Yeah,
But I think the benefit of this is it's not a spoof.
you've never been married.
It's not a spoof like the scary movies. It's a spoof, but it's a spoof with action elements that doesn't.
It's a smart spoof.
Yeah, I like that. It's a smart spoof, which I actually think is the better way to go because it's poking fun while having a movie that's actually entertaining at the same
Yes,
time.
I agree.
Because a lot of the spoofs nowadays just are not funny. They lost the.
They don't know how to spoof.
They're not spoofies.
There's no spoofness.
The Wayans brothers got involved.
Oh.
Some of those weren't too bad, but they didn't have the, I guess I would say, class that this film has. Because they're more of the dirty, push it, fart, potty jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
What you can tell kinds of spoof movies or satires is the love of the actual
The source.
genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They love spy. You can tell who the people who made this, probably grew up, loving
Smart.
James Bond and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
So
And Get Smart.
Get Smart.
The interesting thing is, according to this, IMDb, they said that Johnny Depp was one of the guys to be lined up to play John Smith,
No, that would not
and
work.
Tom Cruise's ex-wife,
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, was supposed to play the character when she dropped out. They were looking at
That
Gwen
movie would have
Stefani.
bombed.
Oh,
Would have
really?
been-
Wow.
ugh.
And then
Stefani?
Gwen Stefani, and I guess somehow Angelina Jolie who got involved. And I actually think the two people I have now were the only way this movie was going to be any good. I actually thought this was a perfect cast.
It just goes to show you the little tiny things they could have completely turned this into something entirely different.
Oh yeah.
Whoever was the casting director who actually tried to get Johnny Depp and Nicole Kidman should have been fired.
He was
Maybe they were,
we all
and
kind
that's
of
why
thought
we
the
ended
same
up.
thing about Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. I mean, they figured it was this whole it's Brad and Angelina, this whole married couple that everybody was obsessed with at the time, and that's why I thought this movie was gonna be bullshit.
Yeah,
You should
true.
you should probably
True.
thank Tim Burton for Johnny Depp being busy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
since he's in almost every single Burton
Yeah.
movie.
He's probably doing a Pirates friggin' sports team.
Or Disney. I forgot about that.
You know
It's
what?
on
I
five.
never saw. I didn't see the Lone Ranger. Was it?
I
any good?
haven't seen The Lone Ranger either.
Yeah.
Well, you'll
Lone
have
Ranger
to state,
was
my
actually
ladies and
pretty
gentlemen, you
funny.
might actually do it.
I wanted
I'm
to
just
see
wondering.
it.
I mean, you talked Johnny Depp, and just dawned on me.
It's
There's a
one of
movie
my
I
things
never
that's
saw.
on the list that I
Yeah.
want to see, but I just
So
haven't
Johnny
found the
Depp
time.
in the Johnny Depp we like.
So,
Could be.
so
I don't
Ryan,
know.
since this is your pick, what do you give it?
Dude, I've been thinking about this whole show because I for some reason didn't think about it before, but I've been teetering back and forth really between a 4 and a 5.
Oh, wow.
And I think I'm gonna pick a 5. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because usually when I go into a movie expecting nonsense or BS or something like that, it's almost really hard to get me out of that frame of mind. You know what I mean? I'm going into it with sort of, expectations, and the movie sort of wants, or my brain wants it to meet those expectations, regardless of whatever I'm watching. This movie stuck the damn landing so hard with everything it did, and to me, it's only gotten better every time I've seen it. It's still freaking hysterical. I watched it with my girlfriend who hadn't seen it before,
movies.
And usually when I do that, I'm looking at their reaction, seeing how they're going to watch it. I was still having a good time like it was the first time I've seen it. I think it was better than I think anybody was expecting at all.
Okay, Rob?
Okay, so I want to hold my fives to movies that are just absolutely incredible. And I mean, just wow.
So you can scratch out the 5 on this one.
No, it's just for me. This is my opinion, where I want to hold our scale. And this doesn't fit that. It fits a great 4. And that's why I'm going to go. I'm going to go with a 4. And just explaining why I didn't give it a 5 is because I want to hold my 5s to, like last week.
Strangely enough, I agree with both of you. A
That's
lot of the points that Ryan brought up, I was expecting this movie to be not as good as it was. But I also don't think that it touches the 5 mark for me.
Mm-hmm.
But Ryan hit it right on
the
the nail on the head.
I don't disagree with Ryan.
In the fact that this movie went beyond my expectations of it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much our qualifications for a 5. But you're right in that there's just that little bit that I can't quite go to a 5 on it.
Mm-hmm. So
I think this movie's
a
classic.
It's a strong
honestly.
4.
Well,
and look, I agree with Rob. I want to reserve my 5s also, man. For stuff that I feel is really transcendent of what it was trying to be.
Yeah.
And I think this did it. And it's hard to do that with comedy because comedy's so subjective.
absolutely.
Like,
It's very difficult.
damn,
Yeah.
it's right up my alley.
I actually have to agree with James and Rob. I give this a movie a 4 to 5. I like this movie. If it's on, I can pretty much watch it every time. But I didn't leave the theater, and I didn't leave watching this just going, wow. Like seeing everything's illuminated or, stuff like that.
But see, that's the thing. Those are the kinds of movies that everybody thinks of as 5s. You know what I mean? These really dramatic and
well, it's the sense
because I think there have been more flops as the big dramatic movies.
To me, it's really a sense of just going out of the theater and just going, damn, this movie was funny, or damn, this movie was great. Or I really liked it. It was not enough for me to really tip it to a 5. So for me, it's a strong 4 to 5, but it's really close.
It's a fun movie. It's a real fun movie, and everybody out there should go and watch it. I highly recommend
agree.
it.
I
highly recommend it.
I wish they didn't leave the cheat codes on so much and actually reload a little bit. But
but that's part of the fun. It's a great fun movie. So. And it's a family movie, actually, too.
Was that
3-year-olds, maybe
for
not
Doom
so much.
Control F?
Young
something like that,
teens.
yeah.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that we do have a Facebook page. Let us know what you think. Tell us I suck for picking Wing Commander. I dare you. And
you won't be the first.
Hey, where's the damn donations? We didn't get a donation.
Yeah, why don't we have the
so, ladies and
donation
gentlemen, you
Don't
want
make
to
me get out of this chair.
I warn you, he's a cranky bastard. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let us know. Is there a theme?
Only on Mondays.
If this is a theme you'd want us to do, a movie you want us to pick,
8:45.
or if you tell that Rob should stop eating dinner at 3:00 in the afternoon, please let us know. Thank you.
Hey, I had dinner with you today. It wasn't 3:00 in the afternoon.
So Ryan, what's your movie news?
Yeah, I'm very curious.
I have my pick, by the way, too.
I'm seriously curious.
First, I want to reiterate what Rob was saying. We definitely do accept PayPal, and Rob will personally accept Caro's gift cards.
Absolutely.
I take cash.
No problem.
Cash or checks written directly to me.
He even takes Diner Club.
Only as long as there's
Diner
6
Club.
figures.
Anything that fits in PayPal, I'll take. I don't care. Maybe Bitcoin's in there. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
Digital currency.
Crashed. It's worth nothing,
okay, well,
as I said.
No, he takes Doge coins.
Deutschmarks. Go ahead, Ryan.
Ryan, news.
Rubles?
I have 2 bits of news, but one thing real quick I just kind of wanted to hip everybody to. James, do you remember a little bit back in the day watching a movie called Choke with Sam Rockwell?
I think so.
Where he was like a con artist trying to pay his mom's medical bills, but he's gaining sympathy.
Yeah.
It was a really quirky strange, funny movie. Flew under the radar of everything, but one of the ones I came across one day and I enjoyed it. Turns out the writer and director of that was somebody I didn't know at the time, but is Agent Phil Coulson from all the Marvel shit.
Oh, really?
What movie was it called?
Choke.
Yeah, Clark Gregg. So he recently just came out with this other movie that he also wrote and directed and also starred in this time, called Trust Me. And I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but just based on remembering that movie, and this movie I guess is supposed to be about a Hollywood child, what do you call it? A child talent agent kind of thing, who's trying to get these kid actors famous and whatnot. It looks to be pretty damn funny.
He just recently did a
go check that out. One of those.
You know, why does that plot sound familiar?
I think he did like a Kickstarter for this and funded it all on his own, produced all this shit.
He recently did a Reddit AMA about this, and he was really talking about it. It sounds interesting. I don't know if it's my type of movie, but I'm impressed with it.
Creepy looking.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing there.
I like it.
Couple of
I did too. But that's a creepy picture for him.
Yeah.
Points of news.
We've got two shows going on at once here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Rob and I are having our own little discussion.
We're bored to tears, so we're...
No, they're just trying to fill a dead space between that.
Okay, what's your next part? Sorry, I've been looking at this stuff that you were talking about.
No worries, man. What's your opinion of Channing Tatum?
Goofy.
To put it simply, I'm not a fan.
Okay.
I think she's got potential. I don't think we've seen it yet, is the problem.
Channing
I
Tatum.
agree.
Yeah.
Well, for one, I didn't know so. I was watching 21 Jump Street.
But by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who he is, he was in the G.I. Joe movies, love him or hate him.
What was
He was also in 21 Jump Street, the new one and the sequel. So what were you saying, Ryan?
But, I was going to say that prior to playing, I think it was Duke or something on G.I. Joe, and
Effects isn't a bad one.
Or that one, he was in Step Up. Apparently,
yeah, I knew that.
Is just like he always wanted to dance or something like that. So that's strange. I never knew he was that guy.
Well, he's also in Step Up too.
Electric Boogaloo.
Of course, and he was in that. What was that movie that the chick?
What?
Shit.
Coach
Magic
Carter?
Mike.
Oh, Magic Mike.
Yes.
That guy.
And there might be a sequel.
Right. So there's that side of him, and then I see him in 21 Jump Street where he's actually funny.
Yeah, I actually
but anyway,
liked him in 21 Jump Street.
The reason I brought him up is he's going to be playing Gambit.
Really?
Oh, wow.
In not only his own movie, just starring Gambit, a spin-off, but
Xbox,
in the X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
So my
Interesting,
only
yeah.
thing is, I really hope he better have the Louisiana accent. I'm going to be absolutely pissed.
That's the one thing I'm curious about. Is he going to have that Creole accent? I mean, is he going to take it that seriously?
He should. I mean, that's
I
the
really,
character.
looking at him, I don't see Gambit. I really don't.
Honestly, I see
I
Scott.
don't either.
I see
I
Scott
kind of like the other
Summers.
guy from Origins. He was more that style. That
Even-
kind of
Yeah.
slick shoes.
Even him, I didn't see that guy. I think
He wasn't the best Gambit,
No.
but he.
You know who I see with
But
Channing
he looks
Tatum?
like a gambler. Channing Tatum looks like an athlete.
He looks like
not
Scott-
like a gambler.
Yeah, he looks like
Scott
Summers.
He looks like
Summers.
Cyclops a lot more than he does Gambit.
Well, let's
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
or Angel,
So,
the guy with the wings.
let's
I'm
let the
hoping,
makeup department will do a good job. Well, he looks like it there.
I don't know.
So
I
sorry
don't know.
about that.
I think
You
he
were
looks
cut
like
off.
it there.
I don't know.
There's a Gambit look.
If he put on,
See if you had the overhead on, we could show the audience.
True. I'll reserve judgment because I've been wrong in the past. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Because I was really wrong about Elijah Woods in some of the movies he's
and I'm holding, judgment back on Benny Affleck playing Batman, so I can't really judge this guy.
feel the love.
I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've been really wanting to see a live action X-Men that does it justice since I was a little kid. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how they do. Like I said, Heath Ledger really showed me what can be possible from an actor where I had, judgments before.
Not only that,
so,
he set the bar really high.
He did. He really did. And so, people like Channing Tatum, I'm not that big of a fan. I enjoyed 21 Jump Street, although I was a fan of 21 Jump Street, and I had to get over that a little bit because the way they portrayed it in the film, but I still enjoyed it. Not a lot, but, I enjoyed it. And... I hope that he does a good job. I really do. But, from looking at him and the things that
it's going to be another sort of notch in his belt of the whole. I mean, he's just constantly doing different things.
I'll be honest. There's
one of those people I didn't expect to be so versatile.
I'll be honest. There's pretty much one benchmark for me for being a Gambit. He has to do the body movements and the accent. To me, if he doesn't have that, I will bitch about that.
Well, he's got to be able to flick a card.
That's and the other thing about it is that he doesn't need to be so much of a pimp like the guy from the previous Gambit.
Look, because Gambit
that guy was like a pimp. He wasn't like a Gambit.
Because Gambit's a thief. He was very slick.
Yeah, the other guy kind of portrayed it like he was,
like Don King.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, you're wrong.
Yeah, so I'm going to reserve judgment, but I really hope he's good because I love Gambit. He's a great character.
He's one of my favorites.
The movies better work a lot more than X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah. I mean, but
that was a little.
That movie sucked.
Unfortunately, Hugh Jackman, when he first played Wolverine in the first X-Men, he set the bar so high that nobody else could really fit that. He is Wolverine to me.
I also
Unfortunately, for all the crappy films he's put out playing Wolverine, he's still Wolverine.
Which is funny, is because he's taller than Wolverine, really.
Yeah. Wolverine was like 5'5" or something.
There's been rumors lately about him because, obviously he wants to try to do the Wolverine thing as long as he can, but he's obviously getting older, and the thing about Wolverine is he doesn't age.
He doesn't
age,
what I mean?
Or at least that quickly.
Yeah.
But there's been rumors that he wants to do sort of the old man version of Logan.
Ooh, that would be good.
Which there actually has been a recent book out about that. Not a book, I mean,
comic, yeah.
I got it in trade paperback, and it was one of the coolest Wolverine stories I've ever read.
I think I read the first issue of that one.
It was freaking amazing. It obviously takes place in the future, and he's much older. All of his old colleagues have died, and all this shit has happened since then. But if they do anywhere near that story, I can't wait to see that kind of thing.
Does this mean we're going to see Hulklings?
Oh, that'd be great.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
Ladies
and gentlemen, next week is his pick. So, what movie are you picking?
I picked. Now, I picked a movie back from my childhood.
Sherman set the Wayback Machine
I was in high school, okay? But Kelly's Heroes is my pick. And, all right, I did good, huh?
Hell yeah, Donnie Sutherland, dude.
Man, Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas, Don Rickles,
Mr.
Donald Sutherland.
Mr. Warmth.
Rules.
That movie is, now that's my form of a great movie.
Stop with the negative vibes, man.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm not doing fives yet.
We gave Mr. Smitchies. I gave the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith a 4 to 5. James gave it a 4 to 5. Ryan gave it the incredibly rare 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Rob gave it a 4 to 5.
There's so many people. In
Next week's movie is Kelly's Heroes.
Yeah.
And as usual, we'll see you next week.
See you then.
Goodbye.
Donald's